East Los is in the building. Ashley Alvarez. Another Queen interview. Let's get these blessings going, people. Let's get these blessings, go. Take some of these blessings, go. You feel me? What up, No Chaser? What up, Luz? What up? Let's go. What up, Gotcha? What up? What up? What up, Green? Green? How y'all doing? Just right here trying to get my blessings on. You feel me? What's cracking on? I got a good one for y'all. Hey, hey, there you go.
Move it up, move it up.
I'll probably be happy if you had it like that. Awkward. Nah.
Bad angle.
Or good, depending,
Or good,
you know.
yeah.
On who are you? Well, hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. I was tripping, man. My phone was going through an update right now, so it worked out perfect timing. So you good?
I'm good.
That's right. All right, let's get into it then. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Oh, who am I? Jeez, what a
Yeah.
profound question.
It goes deep. It gets deep here, trust.
Um, well, start from where I'm from. I am from East LA, born and raised in Los Angeles. So I'm a true Angelino in and out.
In the
And
city of East LA, though, not.
in the city of East LA, off Cesar Chavez, like that is where I was born.
Okay. All right. Because they be saying that sometimes, and they be living in I don't even want to say the names. I feel bad. The city next
No,
door
no,
starts
no.
with a M. Nah.
No, no. I will even have friends who, they'll be claiming LA. I'm like, you're not really from LA. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay. First question: do you consider Boyle Heights East LA?
yeah.
Oh shit! Right on. Hell yeah. I respect
Yeah, I
that.
grew up in Boyle
Yeah.
Heights too.
No, oh, it's because I lived on First in Utah, the second street, kind of right by Self Help Graphics. It's like right when you
Oh
come off
yeah, I
the
grew
orange
up
line.
off of Rowan and Cesar Chavez, so like right down
Okay.
the street from there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I lived in LA for like 15 years, but I had to move. I had to get back to the Bay.
I can never leave. Never. Even like trying to just live. I lived in the suburbs for a little bit. Like
I
there's
know,
nothing
right?
open. Like it's so quiet. Like there's nothing going on. Like I need to hear traffic at night. I need to hear noise, sirens.
LA breeze, you know. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
I used to live on like over there by MacArthur Park on West Lake and Sixth, and that shit was cracking all night long. But I was a street photographer, so it made sense. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, real quick. So I found you. How I found you was to my homeboy Tony. Shout out to Road and Radio, which is on right now. They're having a dope ass, but you can see that later. But I saw them on that, and then I caught it halfway through. So tell me a little bit. You probably get a lot, but could you tell me a little bit about? He was talking about your pops and all that, but I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I met Tony too, or that's why Tony kind of reached out because everybody was kind of tripping like this girl has nothing to do with hip hop. Because he majority has people
Yeah,
that are,
yeah.
aspiring rappers and artists and stuff like that. And so I guess like my tie to hip hop is so my dad, his name is Carmelo Alvarez. He was the director and the creator of Radiotron, which
Okay.
was the first breakdancing youth center back in the 80s. That's where they filmed the movie Breaking and Electric Boogaloo. So
Damn.
so he's the one who created Radiotron, the youth center. And so Radiotron, if you're into hip hop and into the hip hop culture, it's an iconic staple for LA hip hop. A lot of people say that was like somewhere where it generated in LA. That was the place to go. That really helped to grow a lot of young breakdancers, graffiti artists, DJs,
Yeah.
rappers. Yeah.
Before I started gangbanging, that's what I did. I was a breakdancer.
Oh, really?
And then I don't know
Demonstrate.
how I grew up in the
Demonstrate.
90s. Well, because there was like a second, emergence of breakdancing in the 90s. And
Yeah.
the Asians in the Bay Area, actually the Asians were the ones that started up really big over here. And then the Latinos kind of took it over. But we were all doing that. And then I don't know what happened, man.
I mean, but it's coming back, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
like the first thing that kind of brought it back is going to be, I want to say, like all of the dance television shows. that really
Oh
gave
yeah.
this, you know, I mean, other than social media, like things that mainstreamed it again is going to be like, so you think you can
What's
dance, all
that
that.
group? What's that group that they all have the faces? One of the
Oh, the
home,
Jabberwockies,
yeah, one of my homies is in that.
right? I
I
mean,
don't know if people know, but like there's the original group, and then they get other people that they're like, you can get into that, and then you can travel when other people are like, tired or doing other things.
oh, replacement Jabberwockies.
Yeah, so you can try out for the Jabberwockies. I'm serious, but you got to be like, you know what I mean? You got to be like hella good though. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah. I
The
mean,
guy
but
that
that's,
the guy that won it, that's in it, Gordy. Shout out to Gordy. He is the best. He was always the best of our area, so it kind of made sense that he got there.
I mean, they kind of like, you know, brought it back, you know, and now with breakdancing that's going to be in the Olympics, everything. I mean, it's really just come back to life, you know, and so that's kind of like what's making it, you know, I don't want to say relevant again, because I feel like if you're in hip hop and you're into the hip hop culture, it's never died.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
as far as like mainstream media and recognition, like that's definitely what's brought it back.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that I actually got to meet and work with goddamn, I'm trying to remember his name, Super T Turbo, the second one, the darker one out of the two
Uh-huh.
guys. There was the light skinned one that was all like with the girl, and then there was the
Yeah.
darker one. I think his name was Turbo. I got to work with that fool. It was crazy. I used to party a lot, so that fool likes to party and
I
dance, and I like to dance too. You feel me? I'm not afraid. I'm not like one of those dudes
yeah.
that try to sit back and be like, nah, I'm up at
Yeah,
there
yeah,
just
you're
like,
not
you
like
know
on
what I
the
mean?
wall, yeah.
Nah, I come in dancing. You know what I mean? I'm in the line
You're
already. You
like
know what I
putting your
mean?
apples up.
Hell yeah, girl. You know what I mean? Side to side, elbows up. I remember that shit.
Exactly.
So how was it growing up like that then? Because I did hear, and you said that there was, and you don't gotta get into it, but you said that there was kind of some kind of, well, okay, let me say something first. So my parents were like these really political people that were very loving, but they were out there helping the people a lot, and like they weren't really there for me a lot. So I started to resent them, even though they showed a lot of love. They had so much love that they had to serve the people too. You feel me? So
Yeah.
they weren't an artist, but they were an artist kind of that, doing something that had a cause. So did you kind of how was that growing up with your dad?
Oh, I mean, yeah, 1000. Like that's exactly kind of, I feel like when people have so much to give, you know. um my dad is amazing when it comes to like what he wants to do as far as serving the community, our community, as you know, Latinos, not only Latinos, but you know, majority in our neighborhood, like we lack places for our people to do anything other than, you know, kind of bang, right? Like we don't,
Hmm.
even within our own culture, like we don't really support, you know, if someone's like, oh, I want to be a break dancer, or oh, I want to be a, you know, a DJ, like that's not something that we push. And we are like, okay, let's do whatever we can to support you in that, rather than just telling, no, you got to get a real job, you got to work, you got to support your family, right? Like that's
Hell
kind of
yeah.
like what the culture is. But my dad's always had this passion to kind of help the youth find ways other than the conventional to express themselves, you know, to grow their abilities and things like that. And definitely, like when you're growing up, all that attention, all that focus, unfortunately, gets focused on that. And sometimes your own family lacks, you know. I'm not going to say that we didn't lack a lot. You know, I grew up with minimal. And at times, like, I mean, at times nothing. Like, you know, when you give, then you just, there's not really much coming back, you know, because a lot of these things that when you're doing for the community, like you're not getting the big bucks, you're not making money off of it, right? Like you don't do it for that. And on top of, like you said, like all that love goes to these kids, this, you know, the youth and all that. It definitely lacks on our end.
Hell
And the
yeah.
same thing with you, like you said, you resent, I had a lot of resentment, you know, growing up. um i I felt, you know, that I was somehow punished, or like, you know, like because of that I didn't have, you know, the things that I needed. But I think as we get older, you know, I learned to appreciate now as an adult all the opportunities and all the benefits that I got. You know, I'm blessed to have been a part of not just I mean, not that center in particular because I wasn't even born. Like my eldest brother, he's the one who, got to be a part of that. But that was the like one center out of so many youth centers that my dad has started within my life. So I mean, I've been around for so much more. And when I was little, I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
can I just be like, can't we just be normal? Like, can't we just do normal things?
Yeah, I didn't eat at the dinner
And
table till my parents broke up and had new people in their lives, and then they started eating at the table. I was like 10 or 11 already. I never ate at the table.
yeah, I mean, essentially, like my parents weren't together, and my dad, like he's a super free spirit, and he's driven by passion and his passion, and I get that, and so I didn't really grow up with him and have a relationship with him. Um, my mom kind of raised us as a single mom, and my mom didn't even graduate from high school. Like she went back and got her GED, and we struggled a lot, but as an adult now, I'm like I said, I'm able to kind of like let that resentment go. I think like especially when you myself become a parent, you have to understand like not
You're
only
like,
am I a parent,
oh,
I'm an individual, right? Like we
yeah.
forget like parents aren't just parents. When we're little, we just see like, but your mom, your dad, like that's it.
There was a dope quote that they're saying like, when I was being growing up, I didn't know that my parents were growing up too, at the same
Exactly.
time. So it's like you got to give them a little bit of leeway, you feel me? Because this shit ain't no joke out here being a parent. I'm late to the game. I just started, but I'm gonna end strong. I'm gonna have a gang of kids. I feel like I'm gonna have a gang of kids. You
Oh,
feel me?
really?
Hell yeah, fool. I'm about
I
to
don't
knock them.
know.
Hell yeah, I
Two's
love.
enough for me. That's it. Like
Nah, I'm trying to have a little tribe.
chocolate. No
I'm trying to have a
more.
little tribe. I want to put at least four on the board. You know what I mean?
Woo!
Just to let them know who what's up though. But I
Definitely,
but I love being a parent though. It's like it's just the thing is I love like not being toxic. You feel me? And I'm not. And I was like a hella toxic kind of dude. Not like on purpose, but like I was just like one of them fools in LA. Like I'm not from LA, but people thought I was, and I was just partying and not giving a fuck. Not really objectifying on purpose, but definitely objectifying females, objectifying myself. You feel me? You know how it is. It's all about like, this, that, who you were, all that. And that's why I love the real LA, like, Boyle Heights, East LA, not like what people perceive. And then they go to Hollywood and they find out. That shit
oh,
is,
people always like ask me like when I tell people that I grew up in East LA, they're like, "No way!" Like I would have never thought, and it's like just because like I don't talk gangster or I don't,
or you don't
dress
have
a
the
certain
fan.
way. Yeah, I'm like more East LA than a lot of people that claim East LA. Like I lived it, I was blessed to be cultured as a child and shown a different way. Not that I didn't experience it in my everyday life. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff and I've experienced a lot of crazy stuff, but I had the opposite always being shown to me, the alternative, the what else I could be, what else I could do, the limitless, like that was really embedded in me. Like there's never not one thing that I ever felt pressure to be. I never felt held to a standard. I never felt held like to a role as a Latina woman. Like I never felt like I had to be a certain type. So I feel like that really helped me.
Hell yeah, but hey, can I see them nails though? I love nails. Come on, put them a little closer. Yeah, that's right, ladies. And then when they just scratch you on the back of the head, it's like, oh,
Right? Do the little rub,
I'm like a fucking dog with my leg. It starts moving and shit.
the little
Do you know about the love languages?
yeah,
Do you know your love languages?
all of them.
Well, damn, that's right. Ooh, I like that. Mine, if I had to pick, it's like words of affirmation and touch. So I just like somebody to be a cheerleader, like, hey, go get the bag, get home, I
Yeah.
got you. You're the man. Boom, boom, boom. Not even extras, just a little, a little pep talk. Get out the door, you know what I mean? And then just, touch and all that shit. But
Yeah.
when I learned that, when I read that book, it taught me a lot about just, how to communicate, because we have different languages sometimes, how we show affection.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
And
like
how do
them
you
all.
you like them all? All right. Yeah, nah, I definitely like them. The other one is gifts. I'm trying to remember all of them, but
It's gifts, words of affirmation, acts of
time,
service.
acts of service. Most women is acts of service, and it's not to say like that that there, even if it's like not like on a gold digger thing, it's that we're biological. I believe this is my personal thing. It's like some of us men still need our ego. Like we need our ego to walk out of a cave and go, hunt a saber-tooth tiger.
1000%.
You know
Men
what
are
I
ego
mean?
driven. Like, it's just a fact, like that's,
Yeah, and I think there's ways that it's been twisted now, you know what I mean? So instead of just being a protector, you become a predator, because you're
yeah.
just trying to survive. And I wanted to ask that about because while there is, I mean, I lived, and spent so much time in East Los, and I actually never probably trying to remember. I don't think I ever saw violence right in front of me, even though there was always violence happening. I'd hear gunshots. You know what I mean? But how do you keep remain like in a good place despite some of the things that we have to grow up in those kind of communities?
Honestly, like, like I said, I've grown up. One, I don't want to say I'm desensitized to it because I've lived in it since birth, but kind of like,
Yeah,
I was telling
that's
some
real.
people the other day that I used to live on State Street.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like hood.
that's hood.
That's a hood.
And
There's a hood named State Street. Shout out to all the homies and
yeah, I
everybody
used to live
else.
on State Street. And one day, like,
That's
somebody
funny.
rolled up on a bicycle with a shotgun and just like shots of like right in front of where I live. And they were like, "Oh my God, like, how did you feel?" And I was like, uh, I didn't really feel any type of way about it. And it's not even that I didn't feel like, oh my God, but I kind of didn't feel like, I mean, it's just, that's what, like, when you grow up in those areas, it's unfortunately something that, you're just grown to, like, you grow up knowing what to look out for, when to stand, where to stand, how to look at people, when to keep your head down, when to keep your head up. And things like that, they happen. And I mean, unfortunately, things like that happen. But like I said, thank God that for me, I always had alternatives. Like, we grew up there, but we didn't play there, if that makes sense. Like, we grew up
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, but we weren't neighborhood kids. We were being taken to art centers. I took photography, sculpting, painting, acting,
Uh,
theater. Like, I was always being introduced to other things. And I never got, that was not an option for me. Like, for me or my brothers, I have brothers. Like, I'm the only girl.
how
It
many
was just
siblings do you
never
have?
a plus. I have two brothers, an older
Okay.
brother, a younger brother. They're both super talented artists.
Oh, dope.
They grew up in, like, obviously we grew up together. They were
You're
never
in the middle.
bangers, gang, tech, like nothing. Like, because we just, well, even though you grow up and people are like, oh, you're a product of, your environment. Like, I don't want to say we weren't, but thank God we were exposed to other environments because,
Yeah.
I mean, who
That's
knows?
that's kind of what happened to me. And then I'm half Irish, half Mexican, and then like my parents chose to be poor even though they grew up poor because they had law degrees. So I was always like, why are we growing up in like my homeboys had houses even in the hood, and I lived in an apartment. And both my parents had law degrees. Like we should be, and I knew it's a weird feeling to know that you could be rich, because your parents are successful. Like my parents are, I mean, geniuses, straight up.
Yeah.
And we could have been rich as fuck, but and I got nothing coming to me but the legacy. Like in my hood, there's a mirror of my mom. Like in this downtown Santa Rosa where I'm from, there's a big mirror of my mom next to a bunch of other famous people. We have a legacy, and that's sometimes is more important. You feel me? But shit wasn't cool when I didn't have the things that I wanted, and I felt like every little thing picked at me, and then eventually the hood kind of because I would always put like I'm uncomfortable being uncomfortable. So whenever I was uncomfortable, I would create, something. And that's even I have to even catch myself now
Yeah.
because I can get now
Yeah.
because I can get into my ego, I can get into myself because I'm like so confident that I can get in myself. I am. I mean, I'm connected to God, but like my confidence is I gotta like relax my confidence because it'll turn into arrogance because I'm so loved by my God and who I am now, and nobody can fuck with me on that level because I'm in a relationship every day. Like
Yeah.
I got a secret going on. It's kind of like when you fall in love with somebody and nobody knows yet. You guys got like this beautiful secret, but it's beautiful. It's sacred.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something that you're working on and you don't want to tell nobody because you're trying to protect it. To these motherfucking snakes out here.
I mean,
So
that's how it is. Like, people always tell me, like, the number one thing I hear a lot. I mean, even growing up, like, a lot of people, they just like look at me and right off the bat, like, bitch, suck that. Like, I would get that my whole life, and I would always like. I mean, I have like my small group of friends who know me, and I'm like, I feel like I'm like really nice. The problem is, I never cared if people liked me. I wasn't one of those people, like, I didn't have to be liked by everybody. And I felt like that was because I had to grow up so fast, and I grew up in the
Yeah.
real world where, like, I was dealing with adult problems at like 6, 7 years old. That like some girl not liking me or not wanting to be my friend, like that. I was like, what is that? Like, I'm
That's
trying to figure out
gangster.
like where I'm gonna sleep tonight. Like, am I gonna sleep in a hotel? Like, are we gonna have a place to live? Like, are we gonna like what's my life doing? And this was at like 7 years old. Like, so I mean, I get like, I grew up with this attitude of like, okay, like, you don't like me, okay, well, that's fine, like, But a lot of people take that the wrong way, and it's not anything to do with me thinking I'm better than anybody. I'm
It's
like
a
a
Los
super,
Angeles woman. They don't know about
I'm
that
just
LA
like,
woman, man. That shit is a
I
trip.
was just like, I grew up young, like I had to be an adult and deal with adult situations. So to me, like, kid situations, like they were so minute in my life. I was like, you
Yeah.
know,
See, that's the thing that I had my issue with it. So I was like, I remember I was dating this girl that had a kid, right? It was my first time dating someone. We were cool. Shout out to Jaden. But he walked over a homeless person. He grew up in MacArthur Park, and he didn't mean to. He was just like, he was just trying to move.
yeah.
But like you said, he was so cynical already at 5 years old that I was like, I got to get out of the city, And I remember telling myself that I didn't get out yet. It took me a couple more years because LA will keep you even when you want to go.
Right.
But I remember thinking like I'm gonna have a kid and I'm gonna raise him back in Sonoma County, Santa Rosa, wine country. I want my kids to be dorks and squares and fucking little soccer nerds and like I don't want nothing. And like the other part of the LA though is that man, it built so much character. Like when I moved to LA, I wasn't kicking it with imports. You feel me? Like myself, I was even though I was born in Oxnard, which is not that far, Santa Paula, and I lived in Oxnard till I was 4. But like everybody I kicked it were from LA, like and I didn't have family there, so I would go eat with them and and
Yeah.
then being a photographer, you really get into it. So like it's such a rich culture as East LA, South Central, all everywhere, and it's like and it builds such a dope human being. Like the LA person to me, the LA resident, you know what I mean, is a deep person, but at the same time, the LA resident will probably see a death within from 1 to 18. They're probably gonna see a death or a shooting. You know what I mean? I know my daughter living in this small town next to my city will probably never experience even a major fight.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
kind of want
It's
that, but then what is it? Then they're kind of not the real world. So I don't know. It's like how do
in a
you balance?
bubble. Yeah. It's I mean, yeah, it's a balance, like my kids don't live in LA. Like, I don't live in LA now. I live in LA adjacent. I moved up a little bit, but because the same thing, like, I didn't even really want them, like, they go to a small school in a small neighborhood that's predominantly Asian. And I like that because, like, LA kids are rough, man. Like, they're just on a whole nother level, and the environment is just so much different. And I feel like it's keeping them younger mentally when they're not going to be exposed to like that roughness so quickly. Not that I want them to be soft, because I'm not soft, like,
I know
but
it's hard.
it's I definitely, like, I want to just keep them, as keep them young as long as they can, because it's hard, like, when you have to see those things, and then to explain them as a parent. And sometimes it's like I don't even know how to give those answers, like,
Yeah.
why people live on, like, my son's so sensitive to homeless people. He'll be like, Mom, if I had money, I'd give it to all the homeless people. And like, to me, I'm like, I ain't giving my money to them.
And on top
Like,
of that, like they're the ones like when I lived on 6th Street, I didn't worry about 18th Street that was on that street. Shout out to Colombianos. But I didn't give it I didn't worry about them. I knew that I was worried about the alcoholic, the drunk, the homeless drunk person, the homeless. So the other part about it is that they can be dangerous too, even though you care about them. You like I would never let my child go walk up to a homeless person and give them money now. But when I was younger, we could walk up to homeless people. We knew who they were almost. You know what I mean? Compared to I know in East LA it's a little different, but even in East Los, I know that they migrate more into downtown, but you know what I mean? Just because there's more like resources for them. Because the farther you get it east, the less shit there is for
yeah, I
everything.
mean, but even like in those, yeah, you kind of have the same ones, right? So you already know, like, who's on the
Yeah.
street.
Or the
You,
heroin
if it's the
addict, or
same, yeah, you kind of like already know like what's up, like who you're dealing with. Like, oh no, he's cool, like he doesn't trip, or that guy's crazy. Like when you see him, like go the other way,
yeah,
things
exactly,
like that. But I mean, it's so bad now, like all around. Like it's
exactly.
real sad. Yeah.
So let's change the topic a little bit, just a little bit. So how is it being a mommy in this a mommy and a woman, and then like also doing kind of this other, this world where one day, you're a mommy, and the other day you gotta turn it on and be, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's hard. It's not even hard in the fact that it's the hard because the way people look at you, it's hard. Like
Yeah.
um, I think like I started getting into the industry when I was like 18 years old. Like that's the first time I ever modeled. I got into go-go dancing at that age. Like that really set me into that world. And then at like 25, I got pregnant and I was in a relationship for 10 years with, I had an ex-husband and, everything stopped. Like my whole world stopped, everything. And then, that ended in 2019.
Oh
I was
shit.
like, all right, like this
And
is
I'm
everything.
back.
Yeah, I was like, this is everything. I mean, this is what I want to do. Like, not necessarily that, but I mean, I wanted to be an actress. So I was like, it's now or never. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to do it or
I
I'm not
still
going to
got
do it.
it.
I don't know about that. Like, it's hard. Like, I'm essentially
Hey,
like a normal girl. And now, like, 10 years later, you have like the Instagram girl that's like the thing now with everything done and all that. Like, it's a lot of pressure. Like, and I'm older, not
yeah.
older.
Those would
And
be hollering though.
so it's hard, but I feel like it's only hard because people will only always see mothers as a mother first. They always want to put you in that box where like you're a mom and you should be living by the mom standard. And when you do that, like shame, shame, shame. And that's like, it's like, wait a minute. First of all, I'm a woman first, an
Exactly.
individual. Like I was a person before I had kids. I'm gonna be a person after I have my kids. And me and my mothering has nothing to do with that. Like I'm with my kids. Everything I do is for my kids,
Of course.
everything, every opportunity, everything. Like they're always in the back of my mind. Anytime I do something, of course I want them to be proud of me and I want them to see me in a good light, but I also don't want them to think that any sort of self-expression, whether it's modeling, whatever, and see it in a negative way, especially towards women, because I have a son and I have a daughter. So I have to
Oh,
raise
nice.
a daughter and I have to raise a son. And that's like two totally different things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what does he say? As long as it doesn't matter what they say, as long as you know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you know what you're doing it for. So it's like, what I mean? And I think the people that are like in this period where we're on this, everybody's talking about energy and this and that, but it's true. Everybody that's on this kind of vibe is gonna like things attract to each other. It's not just sexually, it's also spirits and also good vibes and good business relations and good, if you're in a good place, I just tend to think that things based on attraction, you know what I mean? In that way. And it could be negative too. You want to start like for me, I had to leave LA because I was on tour with Bruno Mars, all these people. I was getting caught with, or they were getting caught with coke, and like I just can't believe I didn't go to prison or jail or anything. I was a fool. Like I was like a coke dealer in Hollywood basically. But I mean, it's a long, long time ago. But you know what I mean? And so it can take you to the dark side, right? You can start attracting things like that. And even the photographers in Hollywood go to rehab. I had to go to rehab, girl. I was in a rehab in El Monte after that. Shout out to El Monte. They let me live. But
Yeah, it's tough, There's a standard. There's definitely a standard, and I feel like it's as much progress as we feel like we've made as women. Like we're still so far from being able to like step out of that box. People always want to put you in a box, and
oh
I
hell yeah.
hate the box. It's like don't stick me in there. Like I'm
Yeah, I'll
so
be trying to wiggle out that
smart. Yeah,
motherfucker.
I'm like
They be
no.
trying to say, "Oh, you're from up north. You're from," but I was like, "But I was born down south. But you did this. But I'm half Irish. But this. But they're like, bro, you can't put me in a box. You don't even know. But you look Hawaiian, not bro. But our people,
But
they
you
thought
look
I'm fucking
Hawaiian.
Maui, nigga. I'm like, bro, the Mexica Aztec people did this haircut. for a long, very long time, and the people before them, the Olmecs, did it for a very long time. And when the Olmecs were around, more or less, there was no people on those islands. So not to disrespect them, but just that the thing is like we don't even know our own culture, right? We know what's going on with the Kardashians, but we don't know who like and no disrespect, right? But like I wouldn't have known who like this is Xochipilli, this is Quetzalcoatl. These are our ancestors, these are our gods. The reason why we put our hair up is to honor, and every day you tie your hair up, you're tying your hair up and you're putting it up, you're honoring your God, and you're kind of like saying, that, and
Yeah.
then on the other side in the Christian Bible, on my Irish side, the the Bible says men that follow God grow their hair. So that's my personal thing. Trust me, I used to be pelon. I don't even like this fucking shit. This shit, girl, like it's a situation, you feel me?
Yeah, it looks like
I don't
it's a
want to take it out.
little
It'll be
pressure.
like it'll take up the whole screen. But I do it because I believe. So how do you, that's the question I have is how do you go into this world where they try to make you question your character, they try to make you compromise who you are, you know what I mean? At any moment they try to do that. They did it. I compromised myself and it really hurt me. I'm just being honest. And I had to go through all this stuff. So how do you work in that? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of it's easier to compromise yourself than to, keep saying I'm gonna be this way. I'm not gonna do that no matter what they give me or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, thank like I said, like I feel like just because of what I had to go through as a kid and my struggles, like I've I feel like I figured out, I'm not gonna say I figured out who I was completely, but I definitely learned at a young age like who I was. And I feel like that is super important. Like knowing who you are, one going in, because if you don't know who you are, like you're gonna be, people are gonna try to pull you either which way, right? You have to have real tough skin. Not to say that I don't break at times or, things don't get to me or, I don't feel some type of way, but um I'm definitely, I mean, just, yeah, I think just knowing who I am, like
And that's
knowing,
the other part, though. I feel like also going in as a mother now. I mean, how many lessons do we learn? I mean, I bet I've seen a woman become a mother, and that shit is gangster. You feel me? Like immediately, just it created the whole like I'm on a whole new shit now because I watched. I had to sing for 4 hours in the pregnancy because I used to sing to her stomach, and it calmed her. So I sang for 4 hours, and it felt like 4 minutes. I felt like a motherfucking superstar. Like being a parent, like I'm a gangster fool. I'll murder 15 people to protect my daughter. Like it
yeah,
gives me, I feel like I have a superpower and like that, and that and also like every time I see a vato that I want, because I'm a aggressive man and I like violence, I'll be honest. And so every time I see somebody that I feel like I'm not gonna be able to talk to them, I want to pick them up and drop them. But then I think, is this conversation, is this person, is any of this worth not seeing my daughter in tomorrow? And it just helps me. It's like so amazing. I knew I was gonna have a daughter. I needed
yeah. I mean,
that.
honestly, like I always say, like my son definitely, he changed my whole world. Like I didn't even know I hadn't even held a kid, a baby, before I
Me
held my
neither. I
own
used to be
child.
scared of
It's
them.
like,
Hey, when I
and
got
then
mine though, I was like, give me my baby.
no, I was like tripping out because I was like, like I just, people ask me like, well, didn't you feel like the pressure? I was like, I was 25. Hell no, I didn't feel the pressure. Like kids weren't even on my list. Like there was so many other things that I wanted to do with my career. Like I was super on a path. And having him and being in the relationship that I was in totally changed me. And I felt like, I had to be, not that I had to be, but I got broken all the way down till the point where like you have nowhere else to go but to rebuild yourself. And my kids were definitely that driving force. Like they're the ones that, helped me get up, when I didn't want to get up or get motivated, or there's no other option. Like there's no choice. Like I have two people that depend on me. Like what am I gonna do? Lay down and surrender? Like no, like that's just not an option. Like
And
it's
they
just
don't
not
got a
gonna happen.
pause button. They don't got a pause button. I looked everywhere. There's no pause buttons on them at
No, my
all.
kids are like, ah,
If you think about
like
it though, but think about it, I could turn this phone off. I could turn this light on that's shining. I could turn, you know what I mean? I could turn, but you can't turn your kids off the show,
Oh
especially when they
no.
start talking. It's on.
Yo, my kids are nonstop, like mama, 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 mama. I'm like, ah, but I love it. Like they, when they're not here, like I miss them, like, and I work hard for them. And, like I have to talk to them, like, I don't talk to them like kids. Like I tell them, like, look, like, you guys are my team. Like, are we going to do this? Like, you believe in mom? Like, you guys got my back, like, we're going to make it together. Like, everything that you want and you dream, like we're going to have it. Like, just believe in me. Like I tell them, like, you believe in mom, like believe in mom. Like mom's got you. Like, give her some time. Like, but she's going to make it happen. They'll be like, yeah, we believe in you. And I'm like, oh, they believe in
Yeah.
me. My team.
I know. It's just crazy. Sometimes my daughter can just look at me, like, directly in the face. I'll be like, she'll be moving around, but then she'll just look right at me. I'm like, oof. And like, I'll leave.
Right?
Sometimes I'll even look away because it's just so powerful. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, okay, I'm starting to understand there's something to this thing. Like there's a
Yeah.
reason. There's a reason you start to have kids and you stop looking at your parents and you start looking down at your kids. You feel me? And it's like a different thing because I thought the biggest love of my life has been my mother. I'm a mama's boy. You know what I mean? And even we've got through our stuff. We actually sat down and like restored justice with each other. You feel me? And like, and we're close as fuck. Everybody knows it too. So, but when I
Yeah.
have my daughter, it's like my mom, I don't even know where you're at, mom. Like, you know what I mean? And even me
That love,
sometimes. We're
that
both like that, like
that love
sometimes.
is like unreal. It's unmatchable. Like I always said, like I don't even know, like even when you're having like little, like your first love, and I was like, I didn't even know if that, like, what is that? Is that really love? Like I was really confused on the emotion of love because I feel like it's it could be lust, it could be like, it could be wanting to feel like you love somebody. But when you have your kid, like it like that is pure love. Like there is no second guessing that emotion of like what I feel when I have my kids. Like that is what I know love to be. Everything else, I don't know. Who knows?
Exactly. I know. Hey, that's funny because I was laughing at one of your memes that said red flags, and when you say paint them
Oh
into,
yeah. Me in relationships, red flags. Let's just make them into pretty trees.
yeah, I feel like we do that a lot, especially like if we're because a lot of times, the physical attraction will kick in, right? Because that's just part of it, right? But and then we find out what's really cracking, you know what I mean? And the thing is,
Exactly.
I've always been someone that doesn't like what likes to find out fast, so I like to speed into like relate. I'm kind of I have to learn to kind of slow down, but it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's because I want to figure out who the fuck this person is. Let's get to it. Let's get to
Right?
it. Because my mom told me a long time ago, even, and in all respect, I spent a lot of my time or my life single because I like to be single. And I'm a kind of guy that can get girls that most guys need to be in. A lot of guys get in relationships just because they can't get the girl and they feel like they need to be in a relationship with her. And I'm like, bro, all you got to do is be honest with these females. Tell them your intentions right when you meet them. They might be a little like this, but in the end, they're gonna be like, damn, that fool let me know. But you do it in a respectful way, of course. But
Exactly. Be
let them
upfront.
know.
Yeah. Let us decide. Like I always tell
Educated
people, put it on
decision.
the table. Put it on the table and let the other person decide like what they want to do with that. As long as you're upfront with your intentions and there's, no games, and it's up to the other person. Like if you're like, hey, I like chilling with you, but I'm not ready for a relationship, or you put out there and the other person's still like, okay, like at least you're being honest and not like 6 months down the line, but like, oh, you know what? Like I'm not really looking for a relationship, even though we've already kind of been doing the relationship thing, you know? I'm a relationship person, like I can't help it.
That's
It's
cool.
okay.
I think I'm going that way. I've been in relationships, but I feel like I was always I don't know how to say it, man. I feel like I'm a really good person, and I feel like I'm like a really good boyfriend, and I have high standards. And if you're not, I'm a romantic man too. I like to like create romance and like real like movies and shit, like and because I'm a photographer, so I look at everything like memories. And so like I'm into that. And if you're not synergizing with me, if you're not on this level, you're gonna get left behind. And so that's also why I did kind of had kids later, while I'm doing all these things later, also because. I do feel like that it's important to have high standards, and I think our community, like the Latino people, and especially women, but have very low standards. You know what I mean? And it's like embarrassing almost to see the dudes that some of these females are with. You know what I mean? And so, like, if I'm gonna stand with a female, she got to be a bad motherfucker, not just looks. Every woman I've stood with was better than a dime. A kind of woman that walks in the room and everybody knows she's
Yeah.
there. but what's inside, what's going to sustain me, what's going to sustain this. And I think I'm going towards intimacy because all respect, but you can fuck in making love, but you can't make love in fucking,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I was fucking for a long time and I want to make love now, and I got a little taste of intimacy. And when you get a taste of that, it's like getting a taste of hope. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, damn, this was
It
a
hits
fucking
different.
Oh, girl, I was like,
Yeah.
this was a experience. Like we fucking face to face, third eye to third eye. Like we're right here. You know what I mean? And no, but
Oh, definitely.
it took me on. Now I understand. Like when my father was this very good looking, charming man, but he was always faithful. And I always under like, wow. And even my uncles, all faithful once they're in a relationship. And they're like, bro, you gotta give it some time. Like any relationship, and it's the reason that like it gives you this thing where like it's so easy to cheat, but because you don't cheat, and because you just keep getting to know each other even more and knowing how to
Yeah.
touch, it goes to another level. But the thing is, I don't think because I was an alcoholic and on drugs or just on cocaine, but and partying and cheating and fucking just being a crazy LA fool, like LA kind of person, I didn't give him any space to build that intimacy. You know what I mean? And like I think a lot of guys are blocked, even women too, because of
Oh,
all this
I think
shit.
especially now, like with this, I like to say like I'm a traditional, non-traditional woman. That makes no sense, and people are always like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, because I have traditional values, and I still like traditional male female roles,
I
like
love
I
them.
just do. But I'm also very independent, and I do non-traditional things. And they're like, well, that's why it's hard for you to find a man because like somebody who's a more traditional man is not gonna like a woman that does what you do.
Fuck
And
that. It's
I
not black and white.
exactly,
It's
you
not
know, and
black
I was
and
like,
white.
well, then I just have to wait and find that unicorn that's gonna, like it. But I still like a man to be a man, and I get a lot like I have, one of my cousins, like she's super mega feminist, like, and I'm feminine, like I'm all for feminism, but I still like a man to be like the head of the household. Like I
Yeah,
still
lead.
believe in like, I love an alpha. I love, my friends say you love dicks. And I was like, it's not that I love dicks or assholes. I love the confidence, that a certain man carries, where it's like a little on the hard side, like, I don't know, like I like what I like. I don't know, but
Yeah, you like that
and I
pressure.
still, yeah, yeah, I still, I don't mind cooking, cleaning. Like I was a stay-at-home mom and wife for 10 years. Like that's my whole job was taking care of other people. And yeah, like I love what I do now, but if I could like mesh the two together, like that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
part time. You could do that
Yeah,
definitely.
like why not? Like I still enjoy taking care of a man, and I don't feel like that belittles me as a woman in any way. I feel like,
Fuck no.
but so many people do. Like there's a lot of women out there, there's that new age feminism where it's like, I don't belong in the kitchen. And it's like, yeah, no one's saying you belong in the kitchen. Like no one's forcing me. Like I want to be in the kitchen. Like I want to do those things. Like those are choices that I'm making and what I feel comfortable doing and showing, respect to my man because, and vice versa,
Yeah, and that's something that like my mom, she didn't cook, she would, but she did other things. But like my tias cooked and my family cooked, and the women in my family, a lot of them, um, they were like, I got you, but I got you. So it's like I'm gonna take care of you, but I'm also gonna hold you accountable. So I'm gonna feed you because I love you and I want to make sure you're good, mijo. Pero también you're gonna go out there and handle them chickens because you're the man, or whatever. You're gonna go pick up that thing because you're the man. I was always raised
exactly.
raised to work, to do push-ups, to not be to fight motherfuckers if I had to beat up anybody that talked to my cousins. And I'd go too far because I became a gang member, so then I was trying to stab fools and shoot fools,
Yeah,
and you know
yeah,
what I
you're a
mean. But
little over the line.
yeah, I was like
A little bit.
the cousin you actually don't want to call because he's just gonna fucking make it a
Yeah.
situation instead of just like, pick somebody up or something. I don't know, but you know what I mean. But it's like I don't know. I just feel like that's why I'm doing more of these things because I feel like we need to be in more dialogue with each other to try to understand each other a little better. Because like with this cancel culture, like people tried to cancel me a couple years ago, and it was like, and it turned out not to be true. And it was just this very big humbling experience for me, but also for them, to like people are still coming back apologizing. I'm like, motherfucker, you're just be just keep hoping that I changed my life.
Yeah.
You know, because
I mean,
they're trying to tell the world that I didn't change, and if I didn't change, then I would come hurt them, right? But obviously they're good. We're all good, so it's like, what
yeah,
can
that
we
cancel
do?
culture is I mean, I think like first what we have to do like within like the Latin community is what we don't do, and that's support within our own culture. Like
Oh,
we don't like I always get like this like I'm Latina. I'm third generation. Like I speak horrible
shit, so
Spanish.
am I.
Like
I'm third
I
generation
speak
too.
the worst Spanish, you know, but I also grew up in the 90s where
You grew up in East Los.
and in East Coast because it's
Half
like
of
people
East people think East Los like is all paisas. East Los is mostly Chicanos that been there for a long ass time.
exactly like my
The
grandma
paisas
was
are on the other side, are on Westlake, on MacArthur
yeah.
Park.
And it's like not only that's like in the 90s like they weren't pushing for Spanish. Like
Nah,
you
hell
spoke
no.
Spanish, that was a negative thing. You
And they
went
were
to
killing all the
school,
classes and everything.
exactly. You went to school and it was like English only. You spoke Spanish, it was like a form of like I don't know, like it was just a lower form if you were speaking Spanish, right? Like it was English only. And you know, my dad is from Texas. He's from El Paso.
What? My
He
family's from
speaks
El Paso.
yeah, he speaks
God
fluent
damn.
Spanish and people always like, "How do you not speak Spanish?" And I'm like, it just wasn't, you know, it's not like I'm ashamed. Like I represent my culture, I represent East LA everywhere I go. I'm super proud to be from where I'm from. And I feel like I don't even get the support, you know, within my own culture because I'm not Mexican enough or I'm not like Chicana enough. I'm not like, you know, I'm not Latina
They
enough.
say, no soy de
Very,
ahí, no soy de aquí, ni allí, allá, or
yeah,
anything like that, because you're not from here or over there. You know, you're stuck in the middle. You know what I mean? That's what I also try to bring out, you know, about like that it's okay. Like somos pochos y qué, somos pochas y qué. You know, I used to have a song that said straight pocho y qué, and it was like one
yeah,
of my best sellers, you know, because I'm proud. I flipped it because they used to call me pinche pocho pelón. I went to before USC, I went to CSUN. Shout out to Cal State Northridge and USC and Santa Monica College, but I did it backwards. But anyway, but and so they used to call me that, you know, and then I created like joking around, and then I just created it just because I wanted. I actually created my nickname so that I could put it on Facebook when it first went from MySpace to Facebook, and I didn't want to put my real name because I didn't know what
yeah,
Facebook was. And then it's funny now I have it like on my lips, and it's like tattooed all over. It became like whatever.
yeah.
Um, and so then we're talking so much, we're almost out of time, but real quick, I did want to get into a little bit because I like to get into shit that's just more like real life. Like because you're single now and with a family, and like I'm also single now. Kind of, I met somebody that I'm, you know, just talking to. She has a couple kids, and I have a kid, one, she's two, and you know, it's real shit. And I have a really good relationship with the mother of my child. I honor her as much as I can because she made me. I really feel like I became a man when I became a father. I feel like I was a child before that shit. I'm just being
Yeah.
real. And so it's all good. So how do you date? You know what I mean? Because how do you feel about them having kids? Do you have any boundaries?
Date. What's that? Date? No, I don't date. No. No.
I know, but
It's hard. It's
you know what
hard,
I mean, though?
honestly. It's really hard. I think
Because
I
at
don't
our
mind.
age, everybody has kids for the most part. Not everybody, but
Yeah, but I feel like also, I mean, for women, it's hard to date in general. I feel like when men see a woman with kids, they see it as baggage. Where when women see a man with kids, they're like, "Oh my God, he has kids!" Like, you
he's
know, instant
responsible.
family, instant family. You know, so it's a lot different on this end. And like I really don't date that much. I feel like unfortunately, there's a men are not what they used to be like when I was growing up. It's definitely changed the dynamic of dating and you know what men are looking for. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I stay open, you know, like my friends always like, oh, you just give so many chances and you do this. Sometimes like because I'm open to it. Like I don't rate anybody at a scale. I don't like hold anybody to a standard compared to like anybody else I dated. And I go in, I go all in,
Me
and
too.
otherwise, how am I gonna know? You know, how will I ever know?
Exactly. Well, let's get into a couple quick questions. Favorite color?
Favorite color? Oh, any color. I like all colors.
All right, what's your sign?
Aries.
I'm an Aries. What the fuck is going on
No,
here?
what's your birthday?
March 28th, 1983. Girl, don't even play with me. I'm an Aries.
Mm-hmm.
Where are
March
you?
23.
March
What you're?
28th.
Oh,
28th.
March 20th.
28th. I think 23 is still, I think it starts on 21st.
I'm April. I'm April 13th.
Okay, you're on the other side of it. It's all good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Fire
No, but
sign.
hell yeah, we stay fire. And our family from El Paso. That's a trip, man.
Hey.
I mean, my family's from the projects out there. It's like a real thing for our, it's like a thing in our family, El
Yeah.
Paso. Like they go back and all that. I mean, there's no family there, but they just go back to like see it for some reason. I don't know.
I
There's like a
love
little
it.
hill, you know what I mean? Um, is there anywhere if you could just get the hell out of here, where would you go? Like a country, state, anywhere? Have you
No, I
traveled?
love it here. No, I haven't traveled. I mean, I've been to
That's
other
why you don't know
states.
yet.
I mean, I've been to other states. Um, there's a lot of places I would like to go visit, but I love California. I love LA. I'm a Cali girl,
I
always
am
through and
I
through.
am too. I saw Texas. I like Texas, but then when I saw that humidity, I was like, oh hell no.
Right?
All right,
With
real
that
quick.
hair,
Oh no, you don't even know that shit gets real serious.
humidity with that hair, forget
It's actually really soft.
it.
I got a nice hair, girl. I got a secret. I don't even do that much to it. People put all this shit in it, and they don't know that a lot of times, like, don't wash your hair for a day or two. Let the let nature fuck with it, you know?
Yeah.
But then you gotta wash it to make sure there ain't nothing crazy. I'll get some shit stuck in there too. It's no joke. So let's end this with. I want to end with just one more thing. Like, so if you could talk to your like say 14-year-old self, or kind of, you're of age when you're coming of age when you started liking boys and you started kind of seeing the streets. What would you tell yourself right now?
What would I tell myself now, or what would I tell
No, what
myself
would
at
you
13?
tell at 14
I
that
would
you've
have
learned now?
definitely don't be scared. You know, don't be don't be afraid of what people think. Don't be afraid of what you want to be. Take the opportunities that come your way because you're not going to get them again.
I like
And
that.
I've missed out a lot on opportunity just out of fear, right?
Me too. A lot.
But
Some major
a
things too.
lot, yeah, me too. And I feel like that's a confidence like that wasn't built in me as a kid. So I would
Hmm.
definitely try to instill that people are giving you opportunity because they see something in you. Like believe in that at least.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, everybody, please go follow her, follow me. I'll follow you back if you're doing something. I'm booked into the end of October, but we going. Please follow her. She's about to do things. We both Aries, so you gotta follow them fire signs because we about to blow the whole scene up. You feel
Exactly.
me? But yeah, so I appreciate you. Ever need anything, and if when I'm in town, we can get some shooting done. You feel me? No charge. I got you.
Definitely.
I won't
Thanks
charge
for
you.
having
You don't charge me. For sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
All right, girl. Well, you have a good night.
You too.
All right, peace. Saludos.
Bye.
Peace.